What's going on, guys? Waco from Revolution here with my friend Soheb Magnum. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you, Wei?
Excellent. Thank you very much. So I've just realized that he's actually kind of a creative genius because he's actually wearing two creative hats. One is for his eponymous brand, and he's made some very cool watches there. One in particular that I love, which has got kind of a wandering hour fixed minute track display, which is super cool. And then another, which is overseeing a brand called Beda'a.
Beda'a, yes.
Okay, so tell us a bit about Beda'a.
So Beda'a is a Qatari brand. It was first conceived in 2016, and I took over management of it like last year. And basically I was brought on to be able to create more creative stuff, more high-end stuff for the brand. This is our first international release. It's the Eclipse. Obviously it's called Eclipse because the distinctive feature in the watch is the shield that's covering most of the dial. I think you know from my designs, I like covered watches. I like things, I like hidden elements. So we use this in this particular watch. It's got sweeping hours and then the floating minutes counter.
That's cool.
And then there's also a 10 seconds counter if you can see it over the hours window.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I care about the wearability. So this is a 37mm case, 8.1 thickness, and powered by a Celita movement. Yeah.
So this is the Beda'a Eclipse. It's 37mm because you like to have a wearable size watch. I have to say, first of all, really cool looking case. Tell me a little bit about the inspiration.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah. So to me, having a cool dial or a cool concept with a bad case is just, it's a no-go for me. So this case, if you can see, the lugs are very distinctively
really
separated
nice,
from the case. Right. Those are separated lugs. So they're 4 different pieces that we screw into place.
From inside.
And that's how we're able to finish the case properly in the way that we wanted to and still have such sharp lines between the case and the...
So you finish the case completely and then you finish the lug separately.
And then we screw in the lugs basically.
I have to say, like, and then I love the shape of it. I mean, I think we're living in an era now where like the collecting community has rediscovered their love for like shaped lugs, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at like flame lugs that we've just seen in different brands like Fleming, for example, and also I think Andrea Furlan put those on one of his watches as well. And you can see also Ming watches also have very cool lugs.
Sure.
And, I think like there's so many contemporary brands that are doing great things with lugs, but I have to say these are great. So tell me about the shape, please.
So with round watches, you have to have the interesting lug because it's basically where you can go, I want to say wild, but where you can go give like a distinct identity to the watch itself. These lugs are wide so that we're able to have different finishes within the lug that's always visible. And at the same time, it does not affect the wearability of the watch. So it's a thin watch. I wanted to have thin lugs, but at the same time, different lugs.
Actually, I would say that the lugs are really cleverly conceptualized because they've got this great style to them. You've really nailed the finishing on them. So you've got like vertical brushing, then mirror polished at the bevel, then vertical brushing again on the side. So there's this really nice kind of like contrast, a dynamic contrast between the two surfaces.
Dimensionality always,
And then the mirror polishing on the bevel also is really well echoed by the mirror polishing on the concave bezel also.
Absolutely,
But what's cool about the lugs is even though they're really stylized, they're also like very nicely shaped in terms of how they hug the wrist. So very well conceived watch.
I'm glad that you noticed all of that. I'm glad, thank you.
It's my job too,
Yeah.
And again, I'm gonna ask your patience here because as I'm 55 years old, it's really hard for me to like look at small details now. But when I look at this watch, you've got a semi-covered dial, but what you have here is a wandering hour display, is that right? And then you've got this floating minute hand on the exterior of it, kind of like the Papillon back in the day.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, like that's like traveling above the wandering hour display is a 10-second display as well, which is actually like I guess a 6-sided super thin hand, like spoked hand, going from the cannon pinion that's rotating around.
Exactly.
But it's cool because a lot of times people try to make these like creative ways of interpreting time, and they're either hard to read or they're just like confusing. This one is actually intuitive. It's actually pleasing to the eye, and I was wondering whether or not that 10-second indicator would be distracting. Actually, I like it. It's like it's got kind of just a nice poetic touch to it.
It's thick enough to be visible and thin enough to not
forget
be
about it. Actually, exactly.
So with the watch, it's again as large as it needs to be, not as large as it can get.
Actually, a really nice watch. What do you sell these for?
I appreciate it. So the price is not yet decided, but it's going to be around the 2.2K mark, something like that. 2K mark, let's say.
And then I guess everyone will probably be asking these questions nowadays as well. You mentioned there's a Celita movement, so that's obviously made in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of the watch made and where is it assembled?
It's a Swiss-made watch. We have a factory near Zurich that's working with us because this is a Qatari brand. So we definitely needed a Swiss partner to be able to work with. It's a Swiss-made watch, yeah.
That's fantastic. Honestly, it's genuinely really good.
I appreciate it. This will be, hopefully, the brand's first entry into the GPHG challenge category.
Okay.
So we had that in mind when we're designing this. But also we wanted something people would be able to enjoy, wear, practical, but at the same time, distinct and different.
I've always thought of watchmaking as a language unto itself, right? One that like unites people from different parts of the world, different perspectives on life, all that. What is the challenge for you to create a Qatari brand, and how do you feel that it doesn't kind of matter anymore? Creativity is very universal.
Creativity is universal, but I love the idea of being able to incorporate any kind of cultural significance in watchmaking. So basically, I'm Arab and I love to use the Arabic language, as you know, in naming my other watches. So I give them Arabic names. Here in Beda'a, especially, it's very connected. It's very linked to the culture in Qatar. Stargazing, moon gazing in the desert in Qatar is still very prevalent now, like nowadays.
Even the finishing on this like shield, that's where you have the wandering hour display, like honestly, like,
this watch has a very cool loom shot as well.
That's freaking dope.
That's good.
Is that stylized like fixed index there?
Yeah.
It's just to tell you what the hour marker is, or is there actually a significance to that at 12 o'clock?
It's some way of linking both the case to the dial inside. So the dial does not have any metallic elements, but I do love the idea of having something that links it. So you can see that it's almost touching the case on the outside and it's touching the shield on the inside. So it's just a design element to bring both together.
So you're like a talented dude, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, and when is this going to launch?
This is coming in the summer of 2024. So let's say a couple months from now. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Congratulations.
Thank you
Well
so
done.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.